for the coastal strip, 34 for the middle sector, 36 to 38 for the northern sector. For our fisher folks on the Volta Lake, they can do fishing today, but then late afternoon we expect pockets of rain and thundercloud formation, so they just have to watch out and navigate around it and do their activities. But if their area, the whole sky will be covered with the dark clouds, then they just have to back off. After the rain, they can come back. The sea, we are having some patches of rain and thunderclouds. They can also do any activities, but they have to be extra careful and navigate around it. The state is expected to be calm today, so they are free to do whatever they want to do, but they just have to be mindful of the few cases of rain and thunder that we are anticipating. That is how we are expecting it to be today, Tuesday, the 9th of May, 2023.
All right, Felicity, thank you so much for that update. I'm sure if anything changes, you will let us know.
Yes, I will let you know.
Have a fantastic day.
The same to you.
And that was Felicity Ahafianyo with the weather for today. So do stick with us, of course, as I mentioned. If anything does change, we will let you know. But again, a warm welcome. This is 3FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7.
3FM Sunrise.
There is fire on the mountain, and nobody seems to be on the run. Oh, there is
3FM Sunrise.
top, and no one is running. I wake up in the morning, tell you what I see on my TV screen. I see the blood of an innocent child, and everybody's watching. Now I'm looking out my window.
Start your day with Sunrise on 92.7 3FM.
I see an army of a soldier man marching across the street. Yeah. What did it say to make you so blind to your conscience and reason? Could it be love for your country, or for the gun you use in killing? So there is fire on the mountain, and nobody seems to be on the run. Oh, there is fire on the mountain top, and no one is running. Hey, Mr. Loverman, can I get a chance to talk to you? 'Cause you are full
And there is certainly fire on the mountain,
and you don't know what you
and nobody seems to be running. Good morning again. A lot on today's menu right here on 3FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Very shortly, we'll be getting into the news review.
She has a
We have a selection of papers here. We'll run through the headlines and also take some of the details. For my early risers, do check out 3news.com.
on my TV
We have the latest in sports, entertainment, business, politics, you name it.
child, and everybody's watching.
Well, a former Minister of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation and the chairman of the defunct Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng, he says he's standing by every single word contained in his report to the president. You recall that 36-page report,
What did it say to make you so blind to your conscience?
very scandalous if you ask me.
Could it be love for your
We're bringing you bits of that exclusive this morning, so do stay with us.
so there is morning?
Now, for the uninitiated, the leaked report on the work of the Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining cites high government officials and party executives as having been engaged in galamsey. This is why I say it's truly scandalous.
I'm looking out my window.
We'll be sinking our teeth into that matter and many more this morning.
I see an army of a
Many thanks to DJ Abiam on the ones and twos, treating us to some good music this morning. It's going to be a wonderful day. Do buckle up. Again, this is 3FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7.
3FM Sunrise. 3FM 92.7.
I love this station.
Your urban lifestyle radio. Check it out.
Oh, there is fire on the mountain top, and no one is around.
You are a major stakeholder in nation building. Your voice matters. Start your day with us.
We simplify the conversations, break down the jargons and technicalities. We keep you well informed throughout the week. Start your day with us.
Knowledge is power. We put you in the know of the happenings in Ghana and the world over. The main reason why you need to start your day with us.
We give the leaders the mandate to govern our affairs. We have a responsibility to hold them to account. It begins here. Start your day with us. Good morning, Ghana, Africa, and the rest of the wonderful world. Welcome to Sunrise on 3FM 92.7.
Start your day well informed. Start with us on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Catch the all-new Sunrise Morning Show with me, Johnny Hughes, Helen Abiampofo, William Asiedu,
And Noble Crosbyan.
weekdays from 5:55 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on 3FM 92.7. Your urban lifestyle radio.
You are a major stakeholder in nation building. Your voice matters. Start your day with us.
We simplify the conversations, break down the jargons and technicalities. We keep you well informed throughout the week. Start your day with us.
Knowledge is power. We put you in the know of the happenings in Ghana and the world over. The main reason why you need to start your day with us.
We give the leaders the mandate to govern our affairs. We have a responsibility to hold them to account. It begins here. Start your day with us.
Frustrate depot rights. Ebe. Lack of virgins. They frustrate depot rights. Lack of virgins. You heard me right. It's frustrating the depot rights because there are rights of passage, and where virgins are not available, you cannot have depot. Well, Akufo-Addo, Canadian Prime Minister, hold bilateral talks. Let's support Ken Ofori-Atta to return the economy back to health. That's an editorial by the ABC News. NDC primaries, Dr. Dufour calls for postponement of presidential primary over flawed register. The Daily Graphic this morning says laws on false reporting essential. Professor Datiba, he is a former Supreme Court judge. Scale up operations with creative minds. Minister advises Graphic. Also, latest casualty firefighting hits a snag. Galamsey devastates water sources, and transfer unclaimed dividend to Registrar of Companies by September 2023. Be responsible, dispose of refuse properly. That's Save the Environment initiative by Graphic. On the back page there, WHO sponsors a national survey on non-communicable diseases. NGOs construct free boreholes for Bukum, Dada Bukum.
Well, I've also got the Daily Guide and the Guardian Times this morning. The Daily Guide has this to say: Bawumia goes home for blessing. The full story is captured on page 3. Parliament set to grill new CJ. And state trial of Ofusu to appeal court. NDC man arrested over journalist attack. And pastor burns woman to death. You've got the suspect there, one pastor Isaac, and the deceased, one ama in cancer, appear. So rest in peace. Very unfortunate, the spate of
very
what we call romance murders or intimate partner violence, stroke murders, emotional crimes. A lot of that we're reading on the front page of the dailies these days. We might dedicate a Friday to unraveling some of the reasons for which we believe these things are happening. Get some expert opinion on that. The Ghanaian Times this morning: review sections of District Assembly Elections Act to address lower voter turnouts. That's coming from the NCCE. Government targets 1 million jobs through entrepreneurial initiatives. That means nothing to me. That sounds hollow to me this morning. Absolutely empty from all that we've heard. We've had interventions, YouStart, NAPCO, and the rest. Like William will say, let's focus on what needs focusing on and stop piling on new initiatives, new policies that even when you question, there's pushback and a lot of defensiveness. They happen. It's this headline this morning as a Ghanaian: government targets 1 million jobs through entrepreneurial initiatives. It is waffle.
I think that's a regurgitated and recycled promise, because you remember that the NPP government, in the run-up to the 2020 elections, the NDC said they were going to create 250,000 jobs every year. So times 4 years would be 1 million jobs. The NPP said they were going to create 1 million jobs in 3 years. The 3 years will be 2021, 2022, and 2023. In 2023 May, government is still targeting
1 million jobs through entrepreneurial initiatives.
So before that, now maybe I give a bit of background.
Yes.
The 1 million jobs that the government said was going to create in 3 years, because the opponent had said 4 years and had given a full roadmap, was through Youth Bank, right? Which metamorphosed into YouStart. Have we started? No, I'm not too sure. We said we did a whole year feasibility studies, and then now we kicked it in.
Last August, I saw attempts to initiate this YouStart, and then it died a sudden death.
And then now we say we are now targeting to begin.
Anyway, from YouStart to YouStop. Let's carry on. A few more on the front page. Jospon Zeron. How do you pronounce this? Anyway, they are sealing some deal here.
You'll be fine.
Page 14. I'll give you the full details. Do stick with us. Lastly, landlord kills boy, inflicts machete wounds on father and sister. Back page of the Ghanaian Times. The Chief Justice inaugurates 4 courts in the OT region, and Midiama survive Bichem late onslaught. Adriana Stars drop points against Karila. This is all sports, and you'll be getting some sports, of course, when we wrap up here.
This morning, the Finder is saying Akufo-Addo and Canadian Prime Minister hold bilateral talks, and NPA cautions motorists not to buy fuel from tabletops. Agric holds the key to jobs for the youth. That's according to Dr. Efie Akoto. Don't use concrete to build motorway. Asphalt will save 15 to 20% of costs. Construction chamber is saying so. First batch of...
And they disagree with Dr. Baumia.
I mean for the motorway.
But he said that he was going to... Yeah, but the motorway now is concrete, right?
Yeah. So if they're going to do... I think Dr. Baumia was talking for the whole country.
The whole country. Yeah, but if Osadifo in the 50s, or in the 60s, I should say, was able to give us a motorway with concrete, and it's lasted this long, even in its expiry state, it is still serving us. Why do we want to go and do asphalt when we know the problem with asphalt all across the country?
Okay.
It rains and it washes away the thing, and the potholes are staring us in the face.
Okay, so the why is answered this way. The Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry is urging government to abandon plans to use concrete to construct roads, including the expansion of the deteriorated Accra-Tema motorway. So they are saying construction roads, including the motorway. So it is still against Dr. Baumia's proposition.
That's right.
Rather, government should use 200 millimeter or 300 millimeter asphalt hot mix overlay measuring 12 inches to reconstruct the Accra Tema motorway to take care of heavy loads and high traffic. According to the chamber, using asphalt will reduce the cost of reconstructing of the highway by between 15 and 20%. Chief Executive Officer of the chamber, Eric Cherry, told the finder that the financial savings to be made can be used to construct other roads, not forgetting the man hours to be saved. So that's the explanation given. And you start. You're saying the first batch of you start entrepreneurs begin training in 188 districts. We'll get into the details shortly.
Well, for me, the you start thing, this is the final year of you starts, if you like, where 1 million jobs are supposed to have been actualized. Remember that the government said there'll be a job freeze.
That's right.
Right? As a result of whatever we're doing with IMF. So the government needs to come clean. And I don't like the posture of governments, not just this government, but they get a thing wrong or they miss a certain deadline or target. They repackage the thing and present it to you as if it's a new thing that, they're trying to drop to you. We are all not empty-headed like that.
Yeah.
You have given us a promise. You have given us timelines. You have told us what we need to contribute so that the thing can be actualized. The thing is not actualized. And instead of you coming to you, I told you A, B, C, D will happen in 3 years. It has not happened. Well, this is the reason. And so we are looking at another, deadline or another timeline. That doesn't happen. All of a sudden, we see another repackaged something, same thing, and then it's brought to us, and we're supposed to applaud. I find it very awkward. I find it very, very awkward, if you ask me. Very awkward.
Well, according to the finder, it's kicked off, William, the You Start program in some 188 districts. We'll be keeping a keen eye out on it. Last year as well, around August, we know there were some interventions to take off the project. No idea why it stalled at that time, but as I mentioned, these 1 million jobs, well, they're supposed to be here by the end of this year. But moving on to the Ghanaian Times, this one is captured in page 3, and page 3 typically has a lot of crime stories, but the personnel of the Ghana Immigration Service have intercepted some 800 parcels of Indian hemp. They were stationed at the Nyuve border in the Volta region. They've seized 896 slabs of substances suspected to be Indian hemp. Now, the parcels of Indian hemp were rectangular and they were in sacks with the inscription 70, and no one has so far claimed ownership. Well, if it's for you, you know where it is. Go and claim ownership for your parcels. Superintendent Courage Amegbi, commander Operation Calm Life Patrol Team in the Nyuve sector, confirmed the interception. He disclosed that at about 10:30 p.m. last Friday, personnel of the Ghana Immigration Service intercepted the substance while on night duties along an unapproved route. Well, the superintendent said upon reaching the unapproved route along the Nyuve border, the personnel came across the slabs in the bush. I think the slabs had been abandoned in the bush. They're calling on the citizenry to provide any information that could lead to the arrest of the persons involved in this. If you know something, say something.
Say something. Well, in a country where an 80-year-old is able to get a 9th wife in a 27-year-old woman, and they go for a boitry and an Okonfu's phone is stolen, anything is possible in the country.
Goodness me.
Yeah, Okonfu, you are Okonfu phone, Charlie. Okonfu, be serious, man. Now
the powers of the Okonfu couldn't protect the phone.
Yeah,
because those days, if you take the phone or
you vanish.
Charlie, you can't move.
You can't move
you
now.
Stand there with the phone.
Now you actually take the phone and vanish. Okonfu now is complaining. Okonfu too cannot go to the police because but this one is not spiritual, it's criminal. It's criminal. Well, on the front page of the Daily Graphic, latest casualty, firefighting hits a snag. Galamsey devastates water resources. Firefighting operations in part of the country are the latest casualty of illegal mining, commonly called Galamsey. Locally, firefighting officials have lamented. They say the consequences of Galamsey have gone beyond merely polluting water bodies and sources, and now impacting water availability in the right volumes to fight fire emergencies. The Western Regional Fire Command, for instance, says low pressure in water service lines to its hydrants or points of replenishment is threatening fire service operations. Said this has arisen as a result of illegal mining activities and warned of dire consequences for firefighting operations if Galamsey was not stopped or treated as a national emergency. Now, on page 2 of the Daily Graphic, there's also natural resources stakeholders dialogue. Kasayem Frama, harnessing our natural resources responsibly for our sustainable collective good. That's at Kempinski Gold Coast Hotel in Accra, 11th and 12th of May 2023, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day. Akufo-Addo will be there. Samuel Jinapa will be there. He is the host minister, and Akufo-Addo is the special guest of honor. They will be there. So we are doing another Galamsey talk in an air-conditioned room in Accra, while the people in the Western region are complaining that because of the effects of Galamsey, they are not able to fight fire the way they want to fight it or the way they have to fight it, because the pressure in the pipelines are low, and then the point of their replenishment suffers. And here we are sitting in Accra wanting to have another dialogue. Same dialogue we had with Otumfuo when he mentioned that the people in the room are the very perpetrators of Galamsey. Right? We have not tackled that. We have not dealt with it. We have pretended. See, we pretended that we didn't hear Otumfuo. Right? Now, 2 years on, we are back at the table organizing another dialogue. So the key points from that first dialogue that we had, what happened to them? The takeaways. What did we do? What have we done with them? So that we want to have another dialogue. Because I thought that when you finish having a dialogue, there's a communique. And then when the communique is issued, there are action points, and people are made responsible for each action point. So when we had that dialogue with Otumfuo, what did we agree? What have we done regarding the pointers that we raised? And why are we going to have another dialogue? Are we going to give a report of what transpired then and what we have done in between the time and the latest one, the situational report of a sort? Or we are now going to look at the problem all over again, talk about it all over again in another condition? And that's what kicks me, because if Galamsey is not happening in Accra, it's happening in the Western North, it's happening in the North, it's happening in Ashanti, Eastern region, Central region, parts of the Oti region and all of that. If Galamsey is happening in those places, why won't we move, the dialogue to those places, so that we can invite the people down there to come and witness the effect of what they are doing? Then maybe they will have a change of mind. Because as for Kempinski, the guy in the bush at Western North some corner will never see this dialogue, will never know the effect of the dialogue. All they know is that they are going to the bush this morning and they are going to dig, cut trees, destroy the water bodies just to get Nokofio to go and eat. Finito. So we need to set the priorities right.
Yeah,
we need to.
Well, it's the same thing with this morning's discussion on the USTAT and the NAPCO. When we do one program, we don't review, correct, improve, then we introduce another one. And this is where people get money. Because I believe that the public sector is still a better business space, or if like business entity, than the public sector. So if you want to train people for employment, the best thing for us to do is to make sure that the macroeconomic environment is solid, so that the private sector will employ more people, give them the necessary training. Because we all know how much money is spent on consultancy, workshops, this kind of training, sensitization program, and the public sector is not doing any better. Have we reviewed the success rate of NAPCO to see the problems that we had, youth in agric, youth in this,
afforestation,
or under NAPCO? How much went in? How much have we gotten? Have we been able to pay the people? How many of them have been able to start their own businesses? Because if you look at USTAT, it's saying the same thing, that it will help the youth to start their businesses. That's the thing.
You know, when President Akufo-Addo, I think in August of 2020, when that question was put to him somewhere in the Bono region, he went for a thank you tour, campaign tour. No, I think it was in 2021, the thank you tour. a journalist in the Bono region asked him, because the Ghanaian Times had published that they said we're going to give permanent jobs to all NAPCO personnel, and then he said, well, they didn't promise to give them permanent jobs, but there's going to be another rollout, okay, which is the Youth Start program that you're talking about. Youth Bank, he even mentioned Youth Bank at the time. So it's a legitimate question you're asking. What have we done? That's why I'm asking this about this dialogue, because we had a dialogue with the Tumfor where they said, in this room,
nothing happened.
The people who do Galamsey are with us in this room.
He even said some of my chiefs.
Yes, some of my chiefs, and you even took a speech to Tumfor and asked him to read exactly what you had written. I said, Tumfor didn't have sense.
And then there was some small.
Yes. Yes. They say, Charlie, Nana, stick with it. Nana
said it openly.
Me too, I can't stick to what you are saying. What you are saying, it will not fight Galamsey.
So Galamsey, and I'm bringing the Youth Start thing because Galamsey and unemployment are threatening the country's national security, if you like, because Galamsey is also affecting food production, is even affecting cocoa production, and so on and so forth. So if you look at what the minister is saying, Minister of Trade, our friend K.T. Amon, he's saying that the national population has bulged, yet many state enterprises have collapsed since independence. So there's realistically little chance that the government will employ the greater chunk of the citizenry. It is for this reason that you are undergoing training to set up your own businesses that will lead to employment. Are we sure? What happened to NAPCO?
This is very interesting that they're all talking now, because Dr. Efri Okoto has also joined the chat. He too is saying that it is a Greek that holds the key to youth employment. So they are full of the idea, pregnant with ideas.
Helen, they gave Dr. Okoto Efri the Agric job. They gave him over 600 million every year to do planting for food and jobs. I remember when President Akufo-Addo was nominated him on 11 January 2017. He was very emphatic that the man had done a America coffee group. He had done this. He is an agronomist, a par excellence. He's a Greek economist. He's this, he's that. He's bringing in him to make sure that our food, basket is plenty things that he said about him. Can we go back to that tape? Because that was his job description and his KPI, and then tick the boxes while he was in office, from when he said we had created 745,000 jobs in 1 year, in the first year of planting for food and jobs in Parliament, to fall armyworm, to all the shortages of fertilizer, to farmers complaining, to farmers not having access to loans to go and even farm, to so-called improved seedlings and everything else, down the way to plantain. A bunch of plantain is 3 and 4 cedis, to him himself setting up the plantain market at the Ministry of. And let's compare and contrast what President Akufo-Addo said of him, what his credentials are, and what he was able to achieve. Then we can listen to him suggest to us that Agric is the ish. Because even though we know Agric is the ish, he, while he was in charge for 6 years, did not show us the way that Agric is the ish.
Now that he's no longer there, he is saying that the job opportunities in the Agric sector are enormous. He's talking about industrialization, agro-processing, advertising, amongst others. He's insisting that when proper investments is made, it will change the fortunes of Ghana. I'm quoting him here. My vision is really targeted at the youth, to have an impact on the youth, to create job opportunities for them. Hey, Doc.
See, I always will ask this question. When they give you the job, what did you do? What is your scorecard? Now he wants us to believe that Agric is a thing. I mean, we all know Agric is a thing. But while he was there for 6 years, he couldn't even implement a single policy to support commercial farmers in this country. And even for those of them who are doing peasant farming, the 15% subsidized fertilizers were not available for them to buy for more than 2-3 years. So what exactly is he talking about? Is he now talking because it's out of the equation and he wants us to believe that, so was somebody preventing him from doing anything?
He does say that the biggest challenge, well, he says despite achieving success in the portfolio he handled, Dr. Efiri Akoto revealed that one of his biggest disappointments was seeing the declining fortunes of the poultry industry. The biggest challenge confronting the poultry industry, he noted, had to do with international trade, of which he has very little control over.
If you have a problem and you decide to whitewash the problem, you will not be able to solve the problem.